You look very busy today. What are you working on?
Hi Rohan, I'm practicing graphic design on my laptop. I'm trying to improve my skills.
Graphic design? That's interesting. But don't you think marks and degrees are more important than skills?
Marks and degrees are important, but skills are equally important, sometimes even more. Skills help us apply what we learn in real life.
I'm not fully convinced. If someone has a good degree, they can easily get a job, right?
Not always. Many companies today look for people who can actually do the work. A degree shows knowledge, but skills show ability.
That makes sense. But what exactly do you mean by skills?
Skills include communication, problem solving, technical abilities, creativity, teamwork, and even time management. These help us perform better in our careers and daily life.
I see. So skills are not just related to jobs?
Exactly. Skills are useful everywhere. For example, communication skills help us express our thoughts clearly, while decision-making skills help us choose the right path.
Now I remember my cousin. He has a degree, but he struggled to find a job because he lacked practical skills.
That's a common problem. Education gives us knowledge, but skills help us use that knowledge effectively.
How did you start learning graphic design?
I was interested in creativity. I started watching online tutorials, practicing daily, and learning from my mistakes. Slowly, my skills improved.
That requires a lot of dedication.
Yes, skills need regular practice. No one becomes skilled overnight. Patience and hard work are important.
I like playing football. Does that count as a skill?
Of course, sports teach teamwork, discipline, leadership, and physical fitness. These are valuable life skills.
I never thought of it that way. I always saw it as just a hobby.
Hobbies can become skills if we take them seriously. Some people turn their hobbies into careers.
That's inspiring. But what about students who don't know what skill to learn?
They should explore different things. Trying new activities helps us discover our interests and talents. Hi Aman, I was thinking about how many people understand English grammar and vocabulary quite well but still struggle to speak fluently, and I strongly feel that learning and practicing essential English phrases can make a huge difference in everyday conversations.
Hi Neha, I completely agree with you, because even though I know many English words, I often feel nervous while speaking, and at that moment, my mind goes blank because I do not know how to start or continue the conversation smoothly.
That happens to many learners, and one simple solution is to memorize and practice common phrases like, "How can I help you?" or "Could you please explain this again?" Because these phrases naturally fit into daily situations and reduce the pressure of creating sentences from scratch.
Yes, and I have noticed that when I use phrases such as far as I understand, or, in my opinion, I feel more confident expressing my thoughts, even if my grammar is not perfect, because these phrases give my sentences a clear structure.
Another very important group of phrases includes polite expressions like, "Thank you so much, I really appreciate it," and "I'm sorry for the inconvenience," because politeness plays a major role in effective communication and helps build positive relationships.
That is true, and I also find that phrases like, "Let me think for a moment," or "Give me a second, please," are extremely useful when I need time to organize my thoughts without feeling embarrassed or rushed.
Exactly, and when we don't understand something, instead of staying silent, we can use phrases like, "Could you repeat that, please?" or "I didn't quite catch that," which sound natural and show that we are interested in understanding the conversation.
I remember earlier I used to feel shy asking people to repeat themselves, but after learning these phrases, I realized that communication becomes much easier when we are honest and polite about our difficulties.
Phrases for agreeing and disagreeing are also very important, such as, "That makes sense, I agree with you," or "I see your point, but I think differently," because they help us participate actively in discussions without sounding rude.
Yes, and using expressions like, "From my experience," or "What I mean to say is," helps clarify our ideas and prevents misunderstandings, especially during longer conversations or group discussions.
Another area where essential phrases help a lot is in professional or academic settings, because phrases like, "Could you please clarify the instructions?" or "I would like to ask a question," make us sound confident and respectful.
I have noticed that teachers and colleagues respond more positively when we use such polite and clear phrases, because it shows seriousness, good communication skills, and a willingness to learn.
Ending conversations politely is also important, and phrases like, "It was nice talking to you, thank you for your time," or, "I look forward to speaking with you again," leave a good impression on others.
Absolutely, and even simple greetings such as, "Good morning, how have you been?" or, "Hope you are doing well," can make conversations feel warm and friendly right from the beginning.
I also believe that listening carefully and responding with phrases like, "I understand, that sounds interesting," or, "Tell me more about it," encourages the other person to continue speaking and makes the conversation more engaging.
That is a great point, because communication is not just about speaking, but also about listening and responding thoughtfully, and these small phrases help us show interest and respect.
The best part about learning essential phrases is that we can practice them daily, whether we are talking to friends, teachers, shopkeepers, or even practicing in front of a mirror.
Yes, and when we repeat these phrases regularly, they slowly become a natural part of our speech, which reduces fear, builds confidence, and improves overall fluency.
So instead of trying to learn very difficult words or complex grammar at the beginning, focusing on useful phrases can make English speaking easier and more enjoyable.
I completely agree, and I feel motivated to start using these essential phrases every day, because mastering them is like building a strong foundation for confident and natural English communication.
That's a great attitude, and with consistent practice and patience, I am sure speaking English will soon feel comfortable and natural for both of us. Hey, I was thinking that instead of just scrolling on our phones and wasting time, we should actually use this moment to practice English together, because I feel that we understand English quite well when we read or listen, but when it comes to speaking confidently and expressing our thoughts clearly, we still hesitate and feel nervous.
That is such a true observation, and honestly, I feel the same way, because even though I watch English videos, movies, and interviews every day, when someone suddenly asks me to speak in English, my mind goes blank and I start worrying about grammar, pronunciation, and whether the other person will judge me.
Exactly, and that fear of being judged is the biggest reason why many people stop themselves from speaking, but I believe that if we practice together in a friendly and relaxed way, without correcting each other harshly or laughing at mistakes, we can slowly build confidence and improve naturally.
I completely agree with you, because English is a language, not an exam paper, and languages are meant to be spoken, explored, and enjoyed, even if we make mistakes, because every mistake teaches us something new that books alone cannot teach.
So let's start right now, and let's promise each other that we will not switch to our mother tongue even if we struggle to find the right words, because that struggle is actually a sign that our brain is learning and stretching beyond its comfort zone.
Alright, I accept that challenge, and I will try my best to express myself in English, even if my sentences are long, imperfect, or slightly confusing at first, because practice is the only bridge between knowledge and fluency.
Great, so tell me something simple first, like why you want to improve your English and how you think it can help you in your future life, because personal motivation always makes learning more meaningful.
Well, the main reason I want to improve my English is because I want to communicate confidently with people from different countries, access better career opportunities, and express my ideas clearly in professional and social situations, without feeling shy or limited by language barriers.
That is a very strong reason, and I can relate to it deeply, because for me, English is not just a subject, but a tool that allows me to connect with the world, learn new perspectives, and grow as a person by reading books, sharing thoughts, and having meaningful conversations.
I like how you said that English is a tool, because when we see it that way, it becomes less scary and more useful, and we stop worrying about being perfect and start focusing on being understood, which is the real goal of communication.
Yes, and another important thing is consistency, because practicing English for 10 minutes every day is much more effective than studying grammar rules for hours once a week and then forgetting everything.
That is absolutely true, and I think having conversations like this, where we talk about real-life topics, emotions, dreams, and experiences, helps us remember vocabulary and sentence structures more naturally than memorizing lists.
Speaking of vocabulary, I think we should also make a habit of learning a few new words every day and using them in our conversations, because words become powerful only when we use them actively, not when they stay hidden in our notebooks.
I agree, and maybe we can even correct each other gently, not to discourage, but to help, because constructive feedback, when given with kindness, can speed up our learning process.
That's a great idea, and I also believe that listening is as important as speaking, because when we listen carefully to others, we learn pronunciation, rhythm, and natural expressions that cannot be learned from textbooks.
You are right, and that is why I try to listen to podcasts and interviews in English, even if I don't understand every word, because exposure trains the brain to think in English instead of translating everything.
Thinking in English is actually a game changer, because once we stop translating from our first language, our speech becomes faster and more natural, and we start responding automatically without overthinking.
I am still struggling with that, but I can feel some improvement, especially when I practice speaking alone in front of a mirror or talk to myself about my day, my plans, and my thoughts in English.
That is a very effective technique, and many fluent speakers recommend it, because it removes the fear of judgment and allows you to experiment freely with words and expressions.
Talking to you right now also feels comfortable, because you are patient and encouraging, which makes me want to speak more instead of staying silent.
That makes me happy to hear, because language learning should be supportive and enjoyable, not stressful or embarrassing, and if we support each other, we can grow together.
So let's make a small promise that we will practice English regularly, share new words, talk about different topics, and remind each other that progress is slow but steady.
I promise, and I truly believe that one day we will look back at these practice conversations and smile, realizing how far we have come simply because we decided to start and not give up.
Then let's continue practicing, because every sentence we speak today is a step closer to fluency tomorrow.
Absolutely, so let's keep talking, keep learning, and keep believing in ourselves, because English is not difficult when we treat it as a friend rather than a fear.